So 16 and 17-year-olds are going to be able to vote in the next general election, unless we have a snap election. People born in 2013 are going to be able to vote. You know how terrifying that is? People born after the London 2012 Olympics are going to be able to vote. And you know what? It's such a contentious one because I think there's so many rights that 16-year-olds have, and they're just coming out of school, they're able to work. There's all sorts of that. But at the same time, I think when I was young, I had no idea about politics, at least when I was 16. And I wouldn't even say I'm particularly well versed on it now. But I think, I've got family members that are 16, and I think, would they have any clue on what to vote of? I think what we're going to see now is we're going to start to see, political party messaging aimed at the younger generation. And listen, I'm not entirely against it. I think it's been a relative success in Scotland. People will tell you that. I'm not from Scotland. I don't know. But I think at the same time, it is scary in terms of the impressions that it can leave on young people because they're still trying to find their feet and stuff. And obviously there's other things that have come in as well. The voter ID thing with the bank card is quite funny because obviously Boris had brought that in originally and turned up to an election and hadn't voted. And there's, the gap that they're trying to close on financial investments outside the UK. And you look at this Labour government, which isn't really acting like a Labour government. You look at the polls. I know it's only the polls, but they are struggling in the polls in general. Is this something to help with that? I know it was in their manifesto. I don't know. It's a tough one. Listen, I'm not entirely against it. I just think there are so many bigger issues to be addressing right now. And I know this doesn't correspond with that. I know this doesn't affect many of those issues, the war in Ukraine, the war in Israel, everything that's happening, even the cost of living crisis. There's so many issues in this country. I'm not against it. Just as always, when policies come in, you have to sit there and question it. Makes you think, what does this do for the political landscape? There's not many countries that have 16 as the voting age. Brazil and Argentina do, Nicaragua, there's 2 European countries in Malta and Austria. Other countries going to follow suit now? It's a tough one because I think it's all about the future. Voting is all about the future. People always argue about Brexit and they say, oh, well, it was the people who aren't going to be here who vote for Brexit. And I don't like that argument because I think, at the end of the day, if you're old enough, if you're able to exercise a vote, you exercise a vote. I don't agree with Brexit. I hated Brexit. I think it's screwed this country over massively. But I think at the same time, it's such a tough one. Like I say, it's the future generation, so they should have every right to vote. I'm not going against that. I just worry that, are they going to start putting education in at school, telling these 16 or school and sixth form, telling them how important it is to exercise this vote? I know a lot of people as adults that don't vote because they go, oh well, I don't know what parties vote for, and that's absolutely fine. It's such a contentious one. I don't know. What do you think?